All right, welcome again to 1 Million Cups. Who's here for the first time? Oh, many of you today. Welcome, welcome. Thanks for coming. So, recently we've gone to a new format for our announcements. They are now on printed paper instead of taking time here in the middle. So that's allowed us a little bit more time here in the morning or in the beginning. So I thought I'd take a little time today to kind of reintroduce everybody to what 1 Million Cups is, the who, what, why, and how of 1MC. So first off, what is 1 Million Cups? Well, 1 Million Cups is a weekly educational opportunity. The educational concept is really, really important in what we're trying to do here at 1 Million Cups. It's not a pitch, it's certainly not a funding opportunity. What this is about is connecting great local entrepreneurs, and some we bring in from out of town, to the community and showing them just what we have going on in KC. And if you're not careful, you might just learn something. So that's what we are about, the what. Part of that is, of course, questions and answers. We give each of our presenters 6 minutes to actually talk, and then it's 20 minutes of Q&A. That Q part is you guys. And it's really, really important that as you're listening to our presenters, you're thinking of great questions to ask them, because almost all of our presenters say the most they get out of this is the question and answer portion. So really start thinking about what you can do to help them with building their business and thinking about what makes their entrepreneurial vision great. We're gonna make it super simple with you for questions. So we will come to you with the microphone. So we'll be hustling around the floor, sticking a microphone in your face. So all you have to do is put up a hand and one of the team will be there to see you. So let's see, there's the what, and I think that might be even the why. So how about the who? So let's bring up the 1MC team. Come on, Melissa, you too. Stop the tweets. So come. All the way to the middle. All the way to the middle. All right. So we have from far end to this end, Mr. Brian Azorski. That's tepid applause, but we'll accept it. Jason Kerrigan. So Brian and Jason are our two newest members of the 1 Million Cups community organizing team. Look at that. Melissa Roberts has been around for a year. So Melissa works part-time with Kaufman. None of the rest of us do. Melissa always also deals with all our social media, so tweets and all that sort of stuff. That is Melissa's realm. I'm Mike Craig. I'm with a company called BuzzMeDo, and I do this stuff for about a year now as well. So that's all. That's us. I'm going to leave the microphone with Brian because he's going to introduce our first presenter. Thanks a lot for your patience. Let's get this thing started.
Good morning. Our first presenter is from BIME Analytics and all the way from France. We're so pleased to have Rachel Delacour, and locally we have Jim Leisinger. Come on out.
Okay. Hello everybody, I'm very glad to be here today and share our story about turning a personal frustration into a fast-growing startup that has now 2 headquarters, one in the south of France, in Montpellier, and a brand new one right here in Kansas City. So I'm Rachel Delacour. I am the CEO and co-founder of BIME Analytics. I am here today with Jim Leisinger, who is our VP of North America. And we are going to take some few minutes to share our story, tell more about our product, and about the entrepreneurial journey taken to get here. So a decade ago, I started my career working for a large international retailer based in Paris. Think about Walmart with a little savoir-faire. As a controller, I had to put my hands on a lot of data, fresh data coming from different countries, different time zones. It was a nightmare. Such a tool didn't exist to help me to do that. And I had to beg my IT department, but it was also painful, very slow, with a lot of manual processes to help me. And it didn't help that I was a strong-willed woman applying pressure on very conservative and male-dominated IT department. So, okay, I had these needs. It was obvious for me, if I had these burning needs, maybe that other people at other companies could have the same. So I did something bold. I quit my job, and I built it. I partnered with a brilliant coder, who happens to be my husband today. And back to 2009, we created BIME in the south of France, in Montpellier. Today, we have 26 employees based in France and here in Kansas City. And we will double our revenues again this year. My advice for entrepreneurs everywhere are the following. Don't get mad, get moving. I am the living proof that a personal frustration can lead to a global startup today. We are here to talk about a startup path, etc. Experts out there are used to show this kind of very smooth process about creating a company. It never happens like that, please believe me, and I know you know that. Ours, BIME path, is this one. Choppy, erratic, with up and downs and up again. We gave birth to BIME by year 2009 with so much enthusiasm. And then there was the reality check, hard one. We needed help. We had to find some money, some seed money. But we only had our vision to present because we had a very crude product by this time. We managed to do that. During 18 months, we've crafted the best product we could with a great team. We officially launched by year 2010, but nobody knew about that. So we spread the word about what we were doing, and by year 2011, we were named the European Startup of the Year, and that was our big break. I mean that we were able to catch industry experts' attention. We were able to be present in the press article of a lot of Silicon Valley, VentureBeat, GigaOM readings. We were also named among all our US competitors who raised plus $100 million. So we are very proud of that. We had new customers also. So after we had those rigors of hopes, by year 2013, we were at our break-even, very proud of that. And we were also able to catch much more attention, showing our story to venture capitalists this time. And 2 months ago, we've raised $4 million, and we were able to craft this great team in the US, great people right here in this audience. And we are on this path today, momentum path, and we are fast growing right now. 2 lessons from that. The first one, there is no substitute to a great product. You have to work hard to deliver and to execute your idea, to show this product. The second one is that you have to spread the word as soon as possible. Since inception, you have to tell your story to whomever will listen what you have to say. Really, it's really important that you are in everybody's mind. So I talked a lot. I'm talkative, I'm French. I hope you understood myself. Oui. And Jim will give you a more Joe on the street explanation about our solution. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Rachel. I think the best way to explain our product is to first give you a little brief glimpse of where the industry has been. And so in one slide, I'm going to show you where the industry has been, what some of the disruptors are that are happening in the industry, and where BIME fits. Okay, one slide. All right, in the traditional IT world is they developed everything here you see at the bottom of the page. Everything in a very closed environment on that customer's premise. Okay, since the 60s, they've been storing data in databases. In this example, there's a finance database, a customer service database, and an inventory database. Okay, and they're storing every conversation customer service has with a customer, it's stored there. Where business intelligence was born was people thought, you know what, it'd be helpful to be able to compare information across databases. And it was born with what we call a data warehouse. And so the strategy was that every night or every hour or real time, all of that data was taken down from the databases, copied into a data warehouse, and then attached to that is some very expensive software from an IBM or SAP that would allow IT to run some ports and deliver that to the departments. Does that work? It's worked. It's business intelligence. It makes people smarter to be able to make some data-driven decisions, but it's very expensive. So expensive that only the very largest companies around the world could afford to do it. It takes a long time to get that set up, It's not a have the idea and set it up next week. It's months or quarters or sometimes years to do that. And then I lived with these tools from a flexibility standpoint. I'd say, IT, thanks for the report, but I'd like to add one column of information to my report. Can you do that? And the response was, with time and money, we can do anything. So in 6 months, you'll have that report, but I'll need to post $8,000 of development costs to your budget. So a bit painful, but not real flexible. There is a big disruptor in this space, and we're proud to be one of those that are disrupting here at BIME, and that is the cloud. You've all heard that term. Some of you know exactly what it is. Some of you maybe have no idea what it is, but we've all heard of that. I'll paint a picture of what that looks like. In essence, it has IT a little bit puzzled because they're used to working in the nice little confines of their data center, and all of a sudden there's data out there in the outside world that they need to be able to analyze. Okay, so this example, the sales VP in the top left-hand corner decided, I'm going to use Salesforce, #1 sales automation tool in the world, and Salesforce was the first company that broke through as a cloud provider, a cloud-based company, and has been massively successful, the #1 tool in the world. So salespeople go in there, they enter information on their customers and their prospects, all the contact information, reminder, I need to call this customer next week, their forecast, all of that stuff. Where does that data reside? Not down in the data warehouse where IT is comfortable. It's out there in the cloud, on servers at Salesforce, and not in the closed environment. Marketing has also been very busy. They're using tools like Twitter on the wall and Salesforce to get out news releases and to inform their audience. Another tool they use is Google Analytics. That's the ability to get visibility of what's happening on your website. So we can see, go into Google Analytics, and we can tell how many customers or how many people visited our site last month. Of that, how many were new visitors versus returning visitors? Where did they come from? Did they come from a Google search and they landed on our page, or was it an email campaign that we did to drive them to that site? Once they arrived, how long were they there? What pages did they click on? All this information, very helpful information to marketing just within Google Analytics to better understand that. But a natural progression to that is that marketing manager may know from Google Analytics that 1,000 people went to their site, they went into the customer service section asking for help, the help engine kind of got them to a certain point, and then they ended on a page that said, sorry, can't help you, you're going to have to pick up the phone and call customer service, right? We've all been there. From the marketing manager's perspective, that visibility stops. That life cycle of that customer, they no longer have visibility to. So wouldn't it be nice if she could reference the customer service database down here that's in that closed, tidy environment so that she could see, I can see a trend of these things that they had to call into customer service to fix. If I just improved our website a little bit more and did better Q&A and help section, I could probably solve a lot of those problems right there. Okay, so data-driven decisions in the business. There are a whole lot of spreadsheets in this world. Excel, there's a massive amount of helpful and useful data there. With a need to want to bounce that up against some of those databases in the data center, but not compatible, so not an easy thing to do. The last element I'll throw in here is big data, another buzzword. Big data is simply a realization that we as a society are creating a massive amount of data at a wild acceleration. Okay? Every click we make, every phone call we make, every step we take can be data that when blended with other data can be useful in making business decisions. So IT's approach traditionally as, if there's something outside, I need to pull that into my data center and store it.
Hey,
but
Jim,
because of,
we're way over time, so I'm going to ask you to wrap her up before we can get to
I will
questions.
wrap it up.
Thank you.
Okay, the strategy has been to pull that into the data center. At BIME, our strategy is not that. We were born in the cloud, built in the cloud, and so our focus is leave the data where it is. We will simply connect to that, and through that we can provide stunning visualizations in the form of dashboards. Okay? Before we go to Q&A, let me share with you just one fun piece of information. Okay, this is, we got with the 1 Million Cups team and said, give us access to your Facebook page and the data section of that, and we will build a dashboard. Okay, so this is an example that is real-life example of what Million Cups is doing. You can see, for example, and you can see on the Facebook page that there are 2,500 fans of Facebook. But look at the migration. You can see from just a year ago how quickly that has accelerated. Last one right at the bottom here I think is really cool is the geographic spread of where the fans of the 1 Million Cups Facebook page are. We expected to see all or most of them in North America, but there's over 200 fans outside of North America following 1 Million Cups in all of those different countries where you see those circles. So certainly a data-driven decision that 1 Million Cups could track that and to see at what point would it make sense for us to go international. All right, we will now open it up for questions for Rachel and I.
We are running out of time, and it's my fault. I have to articulate each time, so sorry for that.
I have a quick question here on your right. How did you choose Kansas City to do your North America office?
Go ahead, Rachel.
Okay.
Yep.
For a lot of reasons, the fact that there is a lot of entrepreneurial initiatives coming from here, the fact that it's the best place in terms of time zone also to work with Europe. You know, you are right in the middle of the US to work with the West Coast, East Coast, and for us in terms of time zone, that's a great deal. The fact that we were able to find a great team here, and there is a lot of initiatives also coming from this state. So for a lot of reasons, the fact that also Google picked up you for the fiber, for example, it means a lot, and I see you as the next hub, tech hub, important tech hub after the Silicon Valley, after Austin initiatives.
Okay. All right. Yeah, and I'll add to that. Obviously, Northern California would have been the obvious choice. Okay, that's the standard playbook for an international tech company coming to the U.S. Northern California is hot, and perhaps too hot. The competition for talent, we're up against hundreds of other great stories. And so we felt that this is the place to be. We can raise above the noise in a place like Kansas City. We can latch on to the momentum that Google and Cerner and other technology companies have brought to Kansas City.
Yeah.
Question for you right here in the
Very
middle.
proud.
You said that getting some articles on VentureBeat and things like that, and the getting the award helped kind of launch you out. But you had to do something in order to catch that, keep that attention, and to keep going. What do you attribute most to what you did as far as marketing or anything like that to keep that momentum going?
Yeah. So as I said, it's really important to spread the word and to talk, to present your story, to apply for a lot of competitions, awards competitions, to submit your story to a jury of people who will catch you will catch their attention. So after we were using a lot of social networks. It was in our DNA since day one, and okay, we have a good product. I think we have the best vision about cloud business intelligence, and that's why we managed to catch their attention. Even if we were based in the south of France today, that's fantastic in terms for the IT economy. With the cloud, when you are a software vendor, even if you are based, in a tiny city in the south of France, with the cloud, you are able to bring your software to customers everywhere in the world. We have customers in South Africa, in New Zealand, so that's fantastic. And it also means that you need to have a global marketing and sync cloud marketing, global marketing from day one. And don't be shy about sharing your ID. You know, an ID doesn't mean a lot if there is not a good execution, and you have to tell your story. It's really important to open. You will give more in return that you gave. Really, in English, that's best.
Thanks. We have a question right over here.
En premier, merci pour être ici.
Thank you.
And my question, I guess, and now halfway answered based on the low monthly fee thing, but can you talk to me a little bit about monetization, what you're charging for what size of company, if there's an upfront fee, just how you guys are creating the dollars?
Sure, I'll address that. Again, the traditional way to buy BI is to buy expensive servers, expensive software, hire an IT staff in order to support that. Ours is a pure software as a service model, so for a low monthly fee per analyst, you can have access to these full capabilities. You don't have to download any software to your machine. You don't have to install any hardware, and there is no initiation or setup fee. So as little as a few $100s per month, you have full capabilities to blend any of your data across all of these different 35 or plus sources that we've developed.
Question for you right here.
In my industry, there's a lot of data out there, and I'm getting emails every day of something I need to read, some new article or some new product. And I also have to, prospect for new clients and all that. Is this platform that you have, is it easily accessible for professionals like myself who sometimes have to store data somewhere else, because I store half the things on my flash drive, and I go through my flash drive and think, what is this? Yeah. Is this something that's user-friendly, and I can look at it from my Android if I have to stop on my laptop somewhere and maybe read later?
Sure. This is supported on PC and Mac. It is also supported on any mobile device. So you got full range of doing that. In terms of usability, it is a pretty simple, intuitive process. We put a lot of hands-on available assistance if the customer wants that, to get up and get running and to show them how to create one connection and one visualization. After that, it becomes somewhat of a playground for the customer and a lot of what-if analysis. Okay?
I've got a question up here on your left.
So, as customer interactions and other intelligence comes from different channels, how do you guys integrate those channels into your system? How do you make the decision on which ones to go with, since there's so many out there? Does it come from requests from customers?
Sure. Our pride and the fact that we are cloud-based allows us to develop at a very quick pace. We're developing it from one set. We only have one set of active code, and that is on our cloud-based service. Other companies will have trouble because they've got a code for the 7 different releases of software that people may have on their machines. They got to do one for the server. So one is we're able to code in one place and immediately deploy that. We've got customers all the time say, we had one right here in Kansas City. They said, we love your platform. It's cool. We believe in BIME, but we are a QuickBooks shop, and you don't have a QuickBooks connector. Okay, so what did we do? We sat down with the customer and addressed their needs. And today, 45 days later, we have a QuickBooks connector, because I had a conversation with our development team and said, where's QuickBooks in the stack of things? He said, well, it's been in the top 5 for a long time, but tell you what, we can move it to the top to satisfy that one customer need.
Thank you. We got a question here in the back.
Jim and Rachel, great job. I love what you're doing here. You're in front of a group of entrepreneurs and startups. Tell us how we can use BI to our advantage.
Yeah, you can use BI. BI is simply using the data that is available to you, that you've got stored wherever it is, and the ability to mix that. Again, that what-if analysis using our tool to come up with, it's not just data anymore, it's information. It's information that you can use to make data-driven decisions. An example is you might be a software company and you're wanting to figure out what your second quarter marketing budget is going to be. Where do I spend that money? Okay? For a lot of years it's been, well, where did we sell the most product before? And that's where we're going to spend more money on marketing. When the reality is, if you could blend that sales data, where you sold it, with some profit margin analysis from your financial database, you might realize that, yes, we've been selling more, but actually we'd be better off selling this other product or in this other region. So there are things that aren't relevant to the hunch that we've all managed by for so many years. The hunch is still important. Any good business person has that, but you can be guaranteed that they've got a lot of data analysis in their back pocket that supports that hunch.
Question for you right here.
Hey guys, I had a question around the service versus the product. So how much do you guys offer, or is it purely just the product of, hey, we give you a dashboard, here's the data, we're visualizing it for you, we're showing you that information. How much do you go in? It sounds like you did do a little bit of consulting, if you will, to move QuickBooks to the top. How much do you go in and say, hey, here is actually how to look at this business intelligence, how to process it, or how to do that comparative analysis?
So we provide one platform, one BIME platform for everybody. So when we are saying that we develop some new connectors, for example, once the connector is done, it's available for everybody out there, because we are a software as a service platform, you understand? So it means that every new, that's great on this kind of software, because it means that everybody is always on the last page, on the last features. You are always using the same. You are all using the same features. So there is no okay. I bought BIME 2 years ago, so I have this version. Oh, I am a new one. I have this version. No, everybody is on the same best and updated version. So when we are providing some consulting, it means that we are working with some customers who said, okay, would you like to craft the dashboards for me? We said, okay, we can arrange that, but the vision and the ambition, and for 99% of our customers, they are doing their job with BIME. We can't be behind our New Zealand customers. So it means that they are able to use it by themselves. And I just wanted to reloop with the fact that we are working with we have a lot of SMB customers. There are small one, medium one, but we are also working with the city of Atlanta, for example, in the US. We are also working with, among our customers, we have the Canadian government. So what I mean is that this kind of solution can scale with your needs. You can start very little, you can put your hands deep in it, just for one Excel sheet, for example, but you can also grow at an enterprise level if you need it, because it's SaaS, because it can be, it can completely fit your needs. It can scale to the infinite, and that's what we love, and that's we wanted to bring business intelligence that way. It's understandable enough for you.
We got one more question right over here.
Quickly, how are you securing all this data? If I'm the CFO, this makes me nervous, even though I want to have all this data. I don't want my competitor to have all this data.
Yeah.
Sure, and that was the big knock on the cloud 4 years ago. So when Rachel and Nicola founded this company, the big question about the cloud was, is it safe? Can I store my data there? Is it safe? And that still comes up from time to time. And they looked at Rachel and Nicola building this product, and she's told me the story that people generally thought we were some young punks that were trying to build something in the cloud that you couldn't. Okay? The industry had gone from 4 years ago where people said, this is, even the largest corporations, this is really cool technology, but you don't expect me to ever store my data in the cloud. They were worried about it from a security standpoint. 2 years ago, started changing a little bit. All of a sudden, cloud was reputable. And today, the consensus of IT is it's safer to store your data in the cloud than it is in your own premise. Okay, why? Because who is the cloud? Who are the companies behind that? Little companies like Google and Amazon and Box. Okay, these companies that have tons of resources and the best and brightest people in the world aimed at keeping your data safe. So they made a bet on this product, and we're going to build it in the cloud. People thought they were crazy 4 years ago. And it's how quickly the market has shifted, and all of a sudden the market has come full circle and is presented right there in front of us as a cloud BI tool with those concerns for security gone.
I'm a former controller, so I was sort of paranoid when it comes to the security of the data. And so we are relying on the best cloud infrastructure today to deliver our solution. We are also using all the last security protocols available out there. And today we are also working with financial institutions, with online brokers, So it means a lot. They are very educated when it comes to data, when it comes to the security of their data. So it means a lot.
Jim and Rachel, great presentation. Thank you very much. Before we go, is there anything we as a community can help you do or help? Please let us know.
Sure. There's two things. Our biggest need is, again, we've gotten to this point with a great product and a great story to tell. We're expanding now to get more people to tell the story. So the more you can help us and spread the word, go to our website, sign up for a free trial. and we'll have one of our people contact you and they can demo it and show it to you. It's not one of those free trials where we start charging you for it at the end. You don't have to give us credit card. You just give us your phone number and your email address, and we'd be happy at whatever level of understanding of business intelligence. We'd love to tell the story. The second thing is we are growing like crazy, and so we're always looking for bright and ambitious talent. We hired to our staff of 8, but I'm already looking for that next round of salespeople we'll be adding, and very specifically, we're looking for a sales engineer that we could bring into the ranks to help bolster the IT technical resources that we have. So if you know somebody that fit either of those roles, please send them our way. All right?
Thank you for your attention. Thank you.
Oh, there we go. So just a couple of quick housekeeping things real quick while we switch presenters. First off, want to thank, as always, our generous sponsors, the Kauffman Foundation, for giving us this beautiful space and all the wonderful coffee. And our newest announcement sponsor, Mediahead, which has provided the wonderful things that you see in front of you. I know Mike mentioned we have a new system, but just for everyone out there, make sure you send your request for announcements to the team by 10 a.m. on Monday. That's a deadline to get them into next week's announcements. So it's out of our hands after that point because we have a deadline. One more other thing that we always mention to our presenters, but we just want to make sure any future presenters in the audience, people who are thinking of applying, which you can always do at 1millioncups.com, know is that you cannot ever, under any circumstances, ask for money or solicit funds at 1 Million Cups. That will jeopardize our, again, very generous sponsorship from the Kauffman Foundation. So be advised. Thank you. Okay, next on the list, we have a very special guest with us today, Dr. Winslow Sargent, the National Director of Advocacy at the SBA. Just wants to say hello very quickly.
Hello, my name is Winslow Sargent. I'm the Chief Counsel for Advocacy at the U.S. Small Business Administration. I'm excited to be here just to hear the presentation, just to hear what's going on. Just to give you some background, I head what's called the Office of Advocacy, and our role is to advocate on behalf of small business. I report to the president, and what we're charged to do is to amplify your voice within the regulatory process, within policies, and for us to be effective, we need to hear from you. We need to hear from you in terms of this public-private partnership. What can be done? What role should the government play so that you can do what you do best, which create new products, create new services, create wealth, start businesses, create jobs. And so we're here today to just hear from you, and I'm just so excited to be here. Just as a point of my background, I am a Kauffman Fellow. I am an engineer by training. I have started a number of companies, was a VC in my previous life, so when I hear these pictures, it just brings me back to just all the questions that I used to ask the entrepreneur. And so I'm so pleased to see that entrepreneurship is not localized to any particular coast. It's you. And it's great to see that this groundswell movement is really sweeping across the country and the world. And so I'm here to listen. I'm joined by Becky Greenwald. She's the regional advocate for this region, and we would welcome to hear your thoughts in terms of crowdfunding, in terms of the patenting process, because any rule that will impact you at the national level must go through my office. And so I get asked all the time what should be done to weigh in on certain things that are being done by the federal government. But for us to be effective, it's important for me to hear from you. So I just want to thank Melissa and her team for inviting us here, and please see us after the event. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, everyone. One more quick announcement about the Kauffman Scholars Program. No? No? Okay, never mind. It exists. If you're looking for an intern, you ought to apply. And I'm sure if you Google Kauffman Scholars, you can find the information. We'll be tweeting about it later, so keep an eye on the 1 Million Cups KC Twitter feed. Couple other quick things. We're welcoming 1 Million Cups Fargo into the fold. No, I'm trying so hard not to quote the movie right now. And then a couple real quick things, ways you can support local alumni of 1 Million Cups. Hoopla.io is in Chicago today competing for a $250,000 prize from Miller Lite, so good luck to them. And Snow & Co., which is one of our earliest 1 Million Cups presenters, is also competing for a $40,000 prize. You can vote for them online, and again, keep an eye on the 1 Million Cups Twitter feed to keep that going. So, without further ado, our next 1 Million Cups presenter is Dewsly. We've got Anthony and Matt, who are going to tell you about their innovative platform for communicating between the schools and the communities. Thanks.
Thank you. Try to get that back on. So, having a little difficulty.
Don't worry, we're just an IT company.
Well, I'll tell you a little bit about what Dewsly is and what we're trying to do today. So the team we have at Dewsly, we've all dealt with a problem in education. With more technology being built, it just seems like schools are becoming less involved with their community, with people, because of all the outlets, all the silos people are using. We walk to a lot of school districts today, and a lot of them use the Facebook, the Instagrams, the Twitters. Then they have their communication platforms, which could be SMS, robocalling, texting, emailing, newsletters. And so one of the big things that we saw was a huge problem was that as somebody that wanted to understand what was going on in the education market with my school, with my kid, with my friends' kids, was that I was having to go to 8 to 9 different silos to find out information. I would have to go to Facebook to see what the PTA group was doing. I'd have to go to Instagram to see what some sort of class was doing. I have to go to a teacher's website somewhere else in the internet to see what my kid was doing. And I said, that's great, you know, we're trying to do what we want to do and build a great communication tool, but the big problem was that we kept just having way too many silos people had to go through. And for that, we started noticing the community, the individuals, the parents, the students, the teachers, where we're not that involved because it was so hard to find information. The problem was content was out there, it's just how do we find it? Where do we find it at? And so we took the different approach and saying, you know what, maybe we should look at it differently about communication and make it all about, oh, this really doesn't work. So we should make it all about the individual, the you, and the person. We should allow teachers, we should allow parents, we should allow people in the community to pick and choose what they want to hear for. So what I mean by that is we had a lot of information, and I'm talking about my kid in general. When we would go to different websites, she's in organization, she's in activities, she has 4 different teachers, and she's in 4th grade. So I would have to go to 9 different websites to gather all that information, but figure out how to store it every single day. And then I would have to skim through it every single day. And then on top of that, the school district was blasting me with tons and tons of emails, that information that wasn't relevant to me whatsoever. And so what we decided to do was, let's make it about you. Let's make it about what you want to know, how you want to know it, when you want to know it. So with our system, that would allow, oh, it doesn't work. So, oh, there it is. Let's go back a little bit. It becomes a place that I can create, a single place to create and share with friends that I want to invite, with the teachers I want to follow, with the groups and organizations, and it becomes about my custom feed. It comes about real-time info that I just want to know about. There's a huge, huge community around a school district, but there's only certain things that I want to follow and I want to be involved with. And with my everyday schedule around work, there's only so much time in a day we have to realize what's going on. So with all that content, how do I hear about it? What type of channel do I get? And today, like I said, we go through a lot of different ways of the emails, the texting, the robocallings, but maybe I just want to know about it via text message. Maybe I just want to know about via email. And so we looked at it and said, let's give that option to parents, but let's make it easy for the school, the teachers, the organizations, the coaches, that they send one message, it gets sent out to the entire community or parents, but it only hits them on what information they want to receive it on, what type of channel. And so once I'm allowed to pick some of that stuff, let's take Liberty Public School Districts, for example. These are just 4 schools in the district that we want to sit there and follow. So I go to the school district, and today, when I go to a school website, there's a lot of static information, but once again, I got to go through about 9 different clicks to get to a school website. And let's say there's a few schools I want to follow, and let's go to Liberty North High School. That's all the information that they're posting, that coaches, teachers, the school district themselves are posting. And then from there, let's move on to my personal profile. I'm Jake Lisby, and this is the only information that I want to hear about. I only want to see what Kelly Brook Elementary, because my student goes there. I want to see about Kate Ferris because she's a teacher at one of the schools. I want to see about Liberty North because my daughter goes there and does cheerleading. And so we built this environment that in the education, it starts building a profile system for you that it's only the information that you want to hear about at the right time through the right channels. So I'm over the limit. So.
Okay, great. Ready for some questions?
Hey guys, this looks awesome. Well done executing it. A couple questions real quick. First off, what does your team look like, and how did you actually get it executed? Because it does look good. It looks like you've got a product going. And then the second question is, how do you engage? Parents are busy. I've got 3 little girls, not quite in high school yet, but getting into kindergarten, they're just as busy in kindergarten, which is crazy. Yeah. And so how do you get engaged with the parents knowing that these new things are popping up on their feed? It's kind of that old adage of they're probably not going to sit on the profile and just wait for new content to come in.
Yeah, so to the first question, what does the team look like? We're about 7, 8 full-time people now today. We've had the luck of working with a few superintendents that really came on to join our advisory board to really say, what is the problem with your community and communication? There's a few individuals from Cerner, a couple of us came from AMC and some other backgrounds, so we're trying to build the little pods of what we do great. To the second question, how to get parents involved or with all that schedule. The thing we saw what was great in talking with schools was that there's a lot of solutions out there. And what schools do every July, usually they go and they purchase these programs. And we found that they would buy a texting platform, robocalling platform, a social network platform, but they just kept adding and adding to the problem. A parent like yourself that has 3 kids, now you have to have a password and a login for every single system. That works. And we just said, you weren't really fixing the problem, you're adding to the problem. And so from your point of view, your kids are in kindergarten and they're busier than ever, and there's parents in those classrooms that you're involved with. We said we need to build a system that the teacher's website is on our system, and all they have to do is send an email to you, and you instantly become involved in there. So the onboarding process is the biggest thing. With coaches, with PTA, with organizations, it's all about the onboarding process. And we go back to the old-fashioned way of saying, friends refer friends. Quit pointing the finger at the schools, making the schools do all the legwork, and start opening the system up like a Facebook worked, like a Twitter worked, where you can invite your friends, and then once they understand, they can start joining classes once they log on to that profile. So, and then from there, we moved into the mobile thing, the mobile app, which you can follow certain classes and groups, invite parents, invite businesses to interact, raise funds, and stuff like that.
And to add to that, not only is it a preferred channel of, if you want to text or an email, it's also when you want that information. So you kind of said, I'm not sitting on my feed, so I'm not seeing all this information. Correct, but you can sign up for a daily digest or a weekly digest and see all that information when you want to see it. So you've got your Wednesday nights free and you want to sit down and catch up, that's when you can go and see all that information then. But then there's more timely information that a school might need to give to you. So if they're closing because of snow, for example, which obviously has happened a few times, you would get your text or your email or your phone call right then and there. So it's when you want it, how you want it, kind of thing.
I've got a quick question. A lot of us have put a lot of work in trying to build communities around our products. And so my question is, what are the challenges that you guys faced in building your first community? And then what kind of breakthroughs did you see that allowed you to get traction or get high adoption of your product?
Yeah. So normally in the past, what would happen was when schools tried to create these class websites or organizations using tools like Weebly and stuff, it was, how do we get the word out? How do we go? And what they started doing was going to Twitter, Facebook, posting, hey, come join this teacher website, follow them. And so we realized that there had to be a way that you onboard, but it's more about the parents and the community spreading the word for you. And that's the big thing about Dewsly. We want to say is this entire world of education, entire world of community should come together. It should not just be a Liberty School District, Shawnee Mission School District. It should be a Shawnee Mission community, Liberty community. And so we built a system to where once you sign up your profile, you can do an onboarding, which you just click invite all the parents you may know, friends you may know, to start signing up. You can follow the schools you want to follow and take away from the school having to do all the legwork. Let them teach and let the community interact with each other, invite each other, and a community starts to grow much, much quicker when you have that way. For example, we kind of did a few things with one school district on onboarding, and we created the school website, 20 teachers' websites, and they started inviting parents, and it took a total of 15 minutes to do that. By the time they created the website, the teachers had their profiles up, their own website, and started inviting parents, and that's what we said, if you grow it quickly enough, it becomes effective and efficient.
I've got a question back here in the center.
So I've spent a significant amount of time on parent engagement, so I have so many questions that I'm going to have to try and really focus. I spent the weekend with the Lean Lab doing a Lean Startup weekend on education, innovation, and there were a couple of different projects that seemed to be sort of a blend of what you have. So my question is, are you looking at a way to integrate student achievement data that teachers have to input and schools track on an ongoing basis? And are you looking at ways to break down the digital divide in any way? Because I think this is awesome, but if parents can't actually access it or maybe don't know how to do it mobilely, I don't know maybe how that works.
And to that, so we wanted to start off small. We're not a learning management system today, content management system. And the biggest thing we saw was, there's companies like Blackboard or other tools that would sell an entire solution to a school district, to parents. And so you would start trying to log on, and then you were just overwhelmed. You just didn't know where to start, how to create your profile. And so our big thing right now is more focused on communication, getting the parent engaged with the teacher, getting the community engaged with the school, getting the parents engaged with the coaches, the PTA groups, the boosters, and starting there. Now the roadmap and vision, we are going to be jumping into some of those tools that you're talking about, learning management systems, content management systems. But we wanted to start off to say, let's just focus on building a place that everybody could interact in a safe and secure environment like all the other tools they do today. And let's just become great at that, and then let's keep gradually building so people can learn and have one system that does all the grades, communication, fundraising, websites, retail outlet stores for the school. So,
I think the kind of the beauty of our current product is it's pretty wide open already as far as how you want to use it. So, we had a school that wanted to use it more as a profile management system for us, the students to show off, they're kind of like build an online resume, if you will. It wasn't necessarily built for that, but they could see the benefits of that. And then other schools that want to use it more for just communicating with parents. So it's already got a lot of that stuff that's built into it, and you can kind of just, schools can use it how they want to use it, and we've kind of given them some of those tools and guidance on that. But I feel like it's going to break wide open. Teachers and students, whatever, they'll be using it in ways that we probably don't even imagine right now. But that's kind of the beauty of how it's already set up.
Thanks. We have another question over here to your left.
Hi, Steve Fuller at the Language Project. One of the things that we struggle with our schools and our communities is we are in so many different schools. And there is a communication and connection problem between the different schools, the parents, and the students. How can we, as a business, utilize your platform to connect with all of our schools, our parents, and the students?
Yeah, so where we see a lot of things going is this community side of things. For businesses like you, for companies doing athletic camps or whatever, we wanted to create a community for somebody like you to create your own group, your own page, but then interact with all the schools that you want to, and you don't have to bounce to some other website to come find you guys. That we're building the market right there, and we want it to be built around education. And so to kind of really answer your question is, here down the road, we're going to be kind of releasing what we call the community section for businesses and groups like you to create your page. You can interact with all the schools, message the classrooms that you may want to interact with, and students can go there and just kind of interact with you the way they would on a regular website. But it's all done through Dewsly.
Got a question here in the center, in the back.
Just a quick question. Who are your customers and how do you generate revenue?
Okay, so our customers are the school. We're doing a couple different approaches right now just to kind of see in the markets what grows quicker, what doesn't. But we have a feeling that a top-down approach works best. There's tools like Edmodo, Remind 101 that are just in the market. Anybody can sign up, teachers sign up, schools use these other outlets. But the problem was, if we didn't have a top-down approach with the school enforcing it and saying, use this platform, we would just become another tool like them where you have to search the web, you have to Google it, you have to try to find it. So the school districts, the communication director and superintendents are our audience that we're going after. The community section is more of Dewsly going out there and building this community around sporting teams, around companies like The Language and stuff like that. We have a business model, what we charge per student, that we charge the schools, and then we also have other revenue sources down the road. So,
Got a question here on your right.
I'm interested in existing communication that's happening within these schools and districts. I also have kids in elementary school in the Shawnee Mission District, and there's a lot out there. It's hard to keep up. So I'm curious what you're doing on the content creator side to encourage them, to give them assurance that their messages are being read on the Dewsly platform, so that's not just something else besides the email that ends up in my inbox every day.
Yeah, and so that is a big problem parents have every single day. You know, like I said, Natalie, she's in 4th grade, very great school district, and they still stuff newsletters in her backpack, and you don't see it until 2 to 3 days down the road. So the big thing is, when a teacher would try to send out an email or any type of notification, how does she know people are reading it? How does she know who opened it? When did they open it up? And that's one of our big analytics part that we're still working on right now. So when a coach, a teacher, a superintendent, a principal sends a message, they know what parent opened it up, they know when they opened it up, they know what they read, and they start to build analytics about what messages work best. And then on the other side, you as an individual, maybe you don't like newsletters. You know, maybe you don't want to sit there and get this 4-page email and there's that one sentence that makes sense to you. And that's what the whole system of Dewsly is about, saying, these are the teachers I want to follow, these are the organizations in a school district I want to follow. And so you'll be notified just how you want to get notified. Maybe you're very busy, you have a cell phone, and that's the only way the school's going to notify you. They write a message, they click send, and it goes to people via email, via Twitter, via text message, however they want to be notified. They just get to pick and choose. And so, kind of answer your thing, there's it's crazy all the communication outlets that schools use today, and that's why we kept saying, like, you guys are not fixing the problem, you're just adding and adding and adding. Let's really dive down and build a solution from the ground up and start all over and say, let's give the people the chance to pick how they want to be notified.
Thanks. We've got another question here on your left.
Hi, we're neighbors in the Crossroads, so I want to welcome you to the Crossroads, also to 1 Million Cups. And one of the things I have a passion for is connecting dots. And we have a past president here, Healthy Hip Hop, that you need to meet. Also, we know that it takes a village, and I see this as an excellent tool. I'm blessed to be an empty nester myself. How can you get this to the people that need it the most, the single moms in the urban core?
Exactly.
And how can you help them with their connectivity?
It takes a community, just like you said. I'm a big believer, and the entire team at Dewsly is a big believer in saying, you know, every day we sit back, and I go to a lot of teacher conferences, and a lot of fingers are pointed at the principal, at the teacher, at the superintendent. You're not doing good enough. You're not teaching long enough. You're not telling me when I want to hear it. And we started saying, you know what? Maybe it's about the community that needs to change. The community needs to become more involved in education. You know, the local businesses that sit there and fund the schools, you know, that go to the Friday night games. So, you know, kind of back to that of it takes a village to raise a child. That is our motto of our company. It's in our video. We talk about it. The superintendent that works for us, he preaches that. And so what we're really trying to say is that if we built a tool that allowed friends to invite their other friends that are parents and stuff, it might grow a lot quicker when you have 10,000 voices instead of one voice in the school district trying to blast and say everything. So.
A lot of really cool things, and you've built a lot of great software. What can we as a community do to help you guys out?
Well, you know, we want to look at it and saying, help spread the word about Dewsly. You know, come give us information about on our website what works, what doesn't. Share with us in emails to the website about how to better interact with the community. And like I said, we're in Kansas City, we're starting in Kansas City, we have opportunity to kind of go to other markets, but what we really want to say is that we can change education with a community, and we want everybody around here to really support that and spread the word about Dewsly and help us interact and show that, you know what, maybe if a community became more involved in education, a lot of things might change and a lot more help might, you know, start occurring. So that's our big thing of.
Real quick, who specifically can we tell about it?
That would be just teachers you may know, PTA clubs, athletic clubs to sign up, any organization around a school to start interacting. And what we say is, if you think about it, everything in a community should affect the school, and it does. You know, all those kids go and work somewhere, all those parents go and work somewhere, so it's kind of sitting down and saying, well, I have a teacher, let me email her about Dewsly. I'm involved in PTA. How can your tool help us better connect with the community? So.
I mean, everyone in this room has a connection to education, right? You have a kid, you are in school yourself, you have a kid who was in school and they're graduated. There's always a connection to education. So it's not just, you know, those people. Like, everybody in this room can look at Dewsly as something that they can use to understand what's happening in their community, especially when it comes to the schools. And they can, I mean, anyone in this room can sign up and try to get a community and, you know, work together to do that. So.
Very cool. Thanks so much for presenting. That's all the time we have for this week. Come back next week.